So just starting on the dashboard, this is just an overall view of your activities that you've got coming up. So at the top, we've got the tasks that are currently assigned to you. So those assessment types, the quick one, the quick screens, full reviews, any submissions that are in progress, activities that are due this week. We've got 4 tiles that have arranged some information for you to have a look at. Recommended AN-ACC reviews for some residents that we think might be worth considering. The status of some of your full review activities, recent submission results, revenue change compared to the previous month. So just a snapshot of some key information. Again, depending on how many facilities that you have access to or is included in your organization, we have separated each facility so you can look at them individually or you can look at them all together combined. So those facilities are separated into those individual tabs. And just to mention as well, you can navigate directly to look at more details by clicking on the arrow on the top right corner of these tiles. So for example, that revenue change will take you straight to that revenue change report. I might move on to the residents page. This is where we have a list of all of your residents across your facilities. You can search for specific residents if you prefer, or we can give you a select list of residents who we think might be appropriate for an uplift or a reappraisal. So that is something called a Smart Select feature that we've got. So just clicking on that button will rearrange the list of residents and rank them in order of most likely to require an uplift or most likely to require an assessment. And you can have a look through those residents. Alternatively, you can switch that off and manually apply some filters and say you wanted to just look at people who've come back from hospital leave or exclude certain classes. You have some flexibility to manually select your residents. When you do any manual selections, you have the ability to save that search for future use. So for example, you can look at saved searches and apply that same search, kind of like a favorites search that you can keep on record and apply for later use. When you've got lots of those saved searches, you can help yourself to sort them, in alphabetical order by giving it a name, or you can sort by most recent, oldest to newest, etc. And of course, you can delete and remove some of those searches that you think may not be needed anymore. So this page essentially helps you choose which residents might need an assessment for a reclassification. And we've got a few features to help you out. Once you do have an idea of the kind of residents that you'd like to do an assessment for, one of the big questions I think you might think about is, is it actually worth doing? I've got a few residents, but do I really need to do an assessment? You can use the estimator assessment, which is that very first assessment I mentioned, that top level assessment. Clicking on that estimate button will give you this side panel. It is a very quick AN-ACC assessment, and it requires some knowledge and understanding of the AN-ACC assessment itself. So for example, if you do want to have a look at, say, this resident, Margaret, she's a class 11, based on your quick understanding or knowledge of Margaret, you can select a few outcomes for her mobility, cognition, ADL, pressure injury, and any compounding factors. And you can instantly get an estimated AN-ACC class at the end. If that class is higher or potentially higher in terms of funding, it might give you a help with your decision to say, yes, it is probably worth doing a more detailed assessment, whether that might be a quick screen or that more full-on assessment, the full review. So that estimator feature can help to help you work out if it is worth doing an assessment. You can close that side panel or you can save it to keep that record. Once you do have some idea of, some assessments that you'd like to do for various residents, there are two ways that you can set up those quick screen or full review activities. The first way is just to individually click on these green buttons, the plus buttons, to create a new quick screen or create a new full review. You can do that for individual residents. The other way you can do is select multiple residents and create bulk quick screen activities or bulk full review activities. So you can do individual residents or you can do multiple residents. Just before I move on to the next page, a couple of other features that we've got on this page. You can export this list of residents into a spreadsheet file if you'd like to keep record of that and do something else with it. You can also, I think I mentioned at the start, search for residents individually. So once you've decided which activities you'd like to do for which residents, you can view them in this AN-ACC reviews page. So this is where you've got all of your quick screen and full review activities listed in a single page. We've got these buttons here that you can click on or tap to filter that list. So if you just wanted to look at your quick screen activities that you've got to do or are that need to be done, you can have a look at that. Same thing with the full reviews and any reassessments or reconsiderations that you've got to do as well. So it is just a quick way to apply a filter to the type of tasks that need to be done. You can sort by all of the columns to help you navigate that table if it gets a bit long. We do have an option, an ellipsis on the very end, where you can assign to various people. So, for example, as a manager, you may like to assign it to a different user or a specific staff member who is familiar with that resident. So you've got the ability to do that as well. And you can also assign to your own tasks. So I'll just find someone, sorry. So add to my tasks is the ability to just assign it to yourself, essentially. So this is where you'll see all of your AN-ACC reviews that need to be done. As you go to the My Tasks page, which is set up in a very similar format as the AN-ACC reviews page, this is just a list of what you need to do. So if you've got lots of people in your facility or organization and you just want to look at the activities that you need to do, this is probably the best place to go. Again, you can filter that table by the type of task that you'd like to do. Again, you can sort by columns as well. For each of these activities, you can create some notes if you'd like. So you can add a new note. This is just a free text field. So you can write anything that might help you as a reminder for that particular resident or to other users to leave a note, for example. So this is just a space to do that. In case you did want to remove a resident or that task from your list because you put it in accidentally, you can, of course, remove that from your My Tasks.